at the rhythm of the sun. Well, I was wide awake until the dawn upon her face, and the echoes of our song as it hummed along. So stay with me, you are my missing pieces. Oh, you are my missing pieces. You are my missing pieces. So won't you stay with me? I feel it in my bones, like a blaze of fire dancing in the coals. Oh, like the rhythm of the sun. Well, I was wild.
Hi.
Did you guys see that?
Were you guys able to hear me in the background?
Oh my gosh.
Welcome
Right off the bat. Nothing like starting Monday off right.
to the Thronlys only event where everybody gets to suffer together.
Misery loves company. Thank you. And you guys are the best company.
Always.
We're so lucky
Let
to
me
have
bring
you.
you guys into the chat. Good morning, Art and Francesca and Deb and Brigitte and Latte Lover and Robbie. Who else do I see? Chris is here. Guy is here. Good morning, everyone.
The crew is in the hizzy, as they say.
Oh, good. They didn't hear me panicking in the background.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I wish they did.
A little bit. If you are new to this program, watching this on Thursday, this was pre-recorded live on Monday. This is our Thronlys only event. We do this once a month for all of our members, where our Diamond tier suggests songs, and then the rest of the members vote on them. And here we are. And this month we did a theme. We themed out. It was.
I like themes.
I do too.
Yes.
I
like them now by force, due to my relationship. I'm a fan of themes.
It is part of your daily life and routine now.
Each room has a theme. Our cups have themes. Our furniture has themes. Anyway, I digress.
And now so does the show. Sorry you don't have a break from that.
Right.
No, I behaved, Latte. I didn't swear because I wasn't sure if you guys could hear me or not.
Well, good restraint.
I do my best. Also, wait, what was I saying? Oh, theme. The theme for this month was childhood favorite songs. So a song, we asked the Diamond members, what was a song from your childhood that you loved that we can react to? And it could be the original singer or a modern version of it. And which is why I'm sure you've seen in the title, we have, this is great, Simon and Garfunkel, Nat King Cole, Sting, the Beatles, and Angelina Jordan. Somehow she got grouped with the vintage classic old soul of
She's an
yesteryear.
old soul.
It just works.
What can you say?
It's out of place, and yet somehow it's perfectly in place.
We can bend the rules here at our own show, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yes, I've never heard of this. This Beatle. How'd you pronounce it? Are they French? The Beatles. How do you pronounce that one band?
What are you talking about?
The Beatles. I was trying to make a joke. You ruined the joke. Because obviously everyone knows I'm a huge Beatles nut. I was acting like I didn't know who they were, but never mind. Never mind.
We leave the mispronunciation to me. All right, that's on this side of the experience.
I know.
That way, it's
sorry.
Nobody gets lost. And for clarity, that is the band that Paul sings with. So, without further ado,
well, I already know that the people watching right now have liked and subscribed and rung that bell numerous times. So
even Johnny,
who have not, please, if you would do so, that would be very kind of you.
That. Yes. Also, please be sure to click on the link below to buy us a cup of coffee, help support the page, and even become a Thronlys member, just like those you see in the chat right now that are hanging out with us, where you get exclusive access to these pre-records and voting power. help us steer this channel in the direction that we have come to love.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
First up is... I have to find it. Simon & Garfunkel. Here it is.
And by the way, Francesca, I'm glad that you approve of my metamorphosis into the world of themes. I'm glad you approve of that.
Garfunkel's hair.
Yeah.
He's just styling it right away.
I just love this. So, I mean, three of my songwriting heroes in this series today, or in this show today. Paul Simon, one of the greatest lyricists ever, and also beautiful
Fantastic
melodies. And then Paul and John. Can't beat him.
John's also from the Beatles. Again, for those of you.
John is also from the Beatles.
Forgive my friend Johnny. He's jumping ahead a little bit. I understand if you're lost. You may not be familiar with these groups. All right, here you go. This is I Am a Rock. This is live Canadian TV, 1966. I have heard the song. I have not seen this performance. I'm excited to hear it.
This is probably my most neurotic song. A winter's day in a deep and dark December.
What a great guitar player.
I am alone, gazing from my window to the streets below, on a freshly fallen silent shroud of snow. I am a rock, I am an island.
Like my hair sometimes.
I know.
I build walls, a fortress deep and mighty, that none may penetrate. I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. I am a rock, I am an island. Don't talk of love. Well, I've heard the word before. It's
Still waking up, Joy.
in my memory, and I won't disturb the slumber of feelings that have died. If I never loved, I never would have cried. I am a rock, I am an island. I have my books.
I'll pause here before we go into the bridge here. I mean, honestly, with these two, just with either of them, really, but particularly with Paul in terms of his
Paul.
yeah, to be clear,
not
to
Paul
be
from the
clear,
Beatles.
I don't want to
Yes.
confuse you. Mr. Simon here, like you pointed out already, his lyrics, it just the phonetic flow,
One of the greatest.
the poetry, just the way it moves with the melody. And I've heard the song in a while, and I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. Maybe because, we're doing a show here, and I've got to, there's that presence of mind of, okay, react to something. But at the same time, I'm forgetting I'm supposed to react to something because he just makes you think and reflect. And
He really does.
His poetry is just outstanding. And of course, their harmony choice is everything here.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a great pop song and then you can take the lyrics and they can be standalone poetry, that is mastery right there to me as a songwriter. And yeah, that just the images that he conjures up, I feel like he does that as good, if not better than anybody. He's so great at it. And them together, I mean, obviously, I love Paul's voice. Garfunkel's was known, I guess, more for the voice, but just because he had that range.
Oh my, so smooth,
just soaring, and I mean, just them together just sound so good. And they had this sort of just this telepathy where they were just always in sync. And they did this thing where they would take a song that they've performed millions of times, and they would morph it where they would change the phrasing around to things. This one, they're pretty consistent with how it was, because I think that, well, this is pretty early.
Pretty early, yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, this might even before they kind of went more sort of the pop rock thing.
Could be.
So they were still really, really just doing the folk, whereas just the two of them and the guitar. But yeah, one thing that they would do into the performances is constantly change things around, but they would change things around completely in sync, which is, and it kind of like the Everly Brothers, where when they sang, they sort of just knew what the other one was doing intuitively, and they would just follow each other's nuances, follow each other's little changes, little inflections, like to the T. They were just always so together vocally.
It would have been interesting. Did Garfunkel have any influence as far as the lyrics and melody? Was it strictly
I don't think
support,
so.
or...
I think it was mainly Paul Simon as the writer.
Okay.
Well, harmony wise, maybe, as far as
sure,
the arrangement aspect, but lyrics and melody, I think that was all Paul.
And that's what I was going to bring up, is the harmony, the creativity, the choices, because obviously he's got the ear and the musicality to move things around in the range to where he wants it. It would, in an alternate universe, if Paul didn't have Simon, I think there would obviously be a success there, but there's a tenderness that Garfunkel brings to this. There's a vulnerability that Paul doesn't have in his voice. And I'm obviously not knocking his skill sets or anything like that, but there was something incredibly magical about the combination. And I think Garfunkel's harmonies and tone gave a sense of balance and truth to the words of Simon here.
It was like a sort of a ethereal, reedy quality to Garfunkel's voice. Paul's a little bit more conversational, I guess. And at least in this setting, he took the lower harmonies, so it tended to be a little bit more. I mean, he's got a great range himself, but definitely different approaches. But together, just created this. And obviously, Paul Simon later, after they broke up, because they were only together for 4 years or something. It was something.
That was it.
Maybe
I know they had a falling out. Obviously, they obviously didn't. There was trouble in paradise, but I didn't know it was that shortly lived.
Yeah, I feel like Sounds of Silence. That was, I mean, together in terms of the public knowing them. So I think that was like around 65 or something.
Right.
And then they broke up after Bridge Over Troubled Water in 69.
Wow.
So
I didn't realize it was
very
that
short. Yeah. I mean, talk about packing a punch in a very short amount of time.
No kidding.
But what was my point there? Oh yeah. Paul later on obviously had an amazingly successful solo career, which some people like as much as this stuff, if not more. I mean, I love it too, but I love this. This is just like a magical.
It really is.
Yeah,
I agree. All right, let's go into the bridge here.
Yeah.
I have my books and my poetry to protect me. I am shielded in my armor, hiding in my room, safe within my womb. I touch no one and no one touches me. I am a rock, I am an island, and the rock can feel no pain, and an island never cries.
I know he plays guitar and writes, obviously. I never paid attention to the degree of just effortlessness. I mean,
he's a killer on a guitar. Yes, he's a masterful guitar player. Yeah. No, the stuff that he would do. I mean, the finger picking alone, just even in its most plain form, is to be a great finger picker, it's like crazy. Yeah. But just the riffs and the chords that he would do, and the little melodic motifs that he would do on the guitar, he's just one of the greats. Yeah, for a great reason. Yeah, and
Great
just
for great reason.
yeah, no, lyrically again, just the subject that they would sing about, that he would write about, this sense of isolation and protecting yourself, and
Hmm.
I mean, just
Well, and
I just love.
the fact that it holds true today, right? So even just the
Mhm.
subject matter is just so human based in a way that in not being shallow, obviously, hence the poetry. The same thing. Same thing with with Dylan. Obviously, it didn't the musicality was very different in its expression, which isn't my taste, but and he took on more political things, but the poetry, the pulling at the threads at the psyche and challenging things in a way that was just more introspective but
Very
inclusive at the
self-aware.
same time.
Yeah, all at he was probably 21 or 22 at this point. Or early 20s. The most of those
Yeah,
guys were, Sergeant
brilliant.
Pepper. I mean, they're all early 20s. Pet Sounds 22. It's crazy to think about.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for
Oh, yes,
recommending that one.
yes,
Now
indeed.
we are on to Mr. Cole,
Oh, one of the
Nature
most
Boy.
amazing voices
You
of all. Yes.
Yes, and you have played this song on this channel a few times. I know you
Oh, is this
love
Nature
this
Boy?
piece. Nature Boy, yeah.
This is a great show for me today.
All right, let's go. This is sorry, Nature Boy with strings, so whatever version this is.
Okay, so I feel like
1951.
okay, the original version I think was just with his group. So he had I think a quartet, so just
Hmm.
sort of a jazz quartet. And then as he started getting more popular, he did more stuff with orchestras, and the band was
Right.
kind of, so um, interesting to see what version this is.
Here you go.
This is a different version than the Columbia one.
There was a boy,
Totally different intro.
a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea.
I believe this was Jim's.
A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, a magic day, he passed my way. And while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
One of the most profound lines you could ever write. I remember the first time I heard this, I was watching his documentary, and I had never heard the song before. And that song came on, and immediately my ear was kind of perked because of the version I heard was the orchestral version after this. So this is still with his band. And that was just a full orchestra, and that is just an amazingly wonderful arrangement there. And as soon as that line came, and the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and to be loved in return, I was like, just floored, because that sums it all up.
Everything. Yes. Sums everything up.
When you can have one line that just cuts to the bone like that, and everyone gets it on such a visceral and spiritual level, I guess. I mean, that's the deepest thing going. That's what keeps us.
Thank you, Steve. I was going to ask Johnny if you knew that.
I read that
Abbas.
someplace. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's just what everybody shares. That's our connective tissue.
It
Is
really
that.
is.
So when lines like that really just speak to the soul like that, I mean,
And so well paced.
oh God,
The tempo of this song, if it altered in any way, it wouldn't allow you to absorb the gravity of the lyrics that's being delivered. It just really lets you breathe it in and ponder, and of course his voice is iconic. Really interesting singer as a whole. It's more obvious watching him, but I've always been intrigued with his jaw movement, because
yeah,
what
and I
I
noticed
do.
it more this
Yeah,
time. It was
but
like,
you can hear
you
it,
know,
because I remember hearing this song, like, wow, those vowels are just open, like everything's open. Loved. It's the tongue, the jaw release.
love. Yeah,
So he just allows his all of these muscles related to the jaw, and there's a lot, incredibly strong, because obviously just for chewing food and all of that, these muscles get a constant workout. So you got the muscles here, the masseter. We're not going to break out buddy, but we got masseters. I know the question's going to come. Here you got the temporalis going all the way up into the skull, and then they also hinge from the base of the skull, the digastrics going underneath. So there's just an incredibly strong group of muscles. So to have that open that much, that often, it requires a complete disengagement. Basically stress free is what I'm trying to say. There's a level of just trust and ease you have to have with very strong, generally tense muscles to sing like he sings. And I think that's one of the things on a subconscious level that's very inviting about his tone. It's like a sonic version of having your arms open wide. Like,
yeah,
I'm
sure.
here to give you a hug. And it just shows up in how he creates his sound. I just love it.
Mm. Yeah, let's keep going. But I want to talk
Yeah.
about the song a little bit more
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Loved in return.
Oh gosh.
His fingers just float, don't they?
Oh,
Oh, this guy, whoever he is.
The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love
yeah.
and be loved in return.
It's that 40s crooning influence too, that wait for the
Yeah.
consonant to close just at the last.
I mean, Frank loved him too.
Oh, hold on. He did something here. That's him. Just giving just a little bit of a. Oh.
I mean, that's a jazzy chord right there, if there ever was one. That's a D minor 6, so that's a D minor, or I'm sorry, he's in E flat minor. What's that? That's 6th tone right there. Oh my goodness! And I mean, talking about his piano playing as well.
Yes.
I mean, it was said that he could have been one of the great jazz pianists. If he never opened up his mouth and sang a single note, he would have been one of the great jazz pianists of all time.
I did not know that about him. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's a simple, that solo was very simple, but within it you could just see his touch, and also just taking it back tempo wise, just really just laying back in the pocket. So, and when we say laying back in the pocket, it's like it's a feel thing. It's like there's a beat, right?
Yeah, the beat doesn't change.
The beat doesn't change, but you can play with it and you can be ahead of the beat a little bit, like with still being in time, but it's got kind of a little bit more of a manic push to it. And then the cool cats like that, they tend to bring it back, that it's cooler. They just drag it just a little bit, so he's like,
Yeah, so and like what Johnny just played, there's these moments where you catch up to it. Da-da-da, like we're there, and then it gives us time to just kind of fly a little bit, a little soaring moment, and then you catch up again. It's just there's just a float that takes
yeah,
place.
the push pull. Yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
feel is, and it's just, and it's especially when you can be slow on when you're doing a live performance because it's so easy to speed up because the adrenaline's usually pumping, and
Oh yeah.
it's like your system is going quick. So it's like when somebody's up there and just really they can really bring it back. It kind of just gives this feeling of like calmness to the audience. It's like, okay, everybody just cool out, just cool,
Just chill, man.
just chill, man. And it's like it's so cool to have that presence on stage and in a live performance and be able to just hang back in the pocket like that. And again, this song just I mean all that stuff. So they did it in E flat minor. The original version that I heard was in D minor, so he lowered it later on, which I think was a good choice. I like this performance, but I think lowering the key just a half step, what it does for a singer, the lower you go, the darker. Generally
Storytelling.
speaking,
Yeah.
generally speaking, the singers that we react to are so good that they can basically sing in any key and whatever timbre they want.
Well, yeah, obviously he could sing a half step higher and it would have been fine. But
yes, but there's something natural that happens when you bring the key of the song down. It just darkens up your tone because it just brings in the lower frequencies. So I think for a song like this, that was a really good move. But yeah, just this. I mean, all these cool chords like the minor sixth that I was talking about, adding that major seventh tone in a minor chord, and then that's the diminished chord that we talk about.
Yep. That's the minor third distances, right?
That's yeah. So instead of a minor chord, which is a minor third on the bottom and then a major third on the top, which creates this, it's both minor third intervals. So it just has that little bit more of that pull. It just darkens it up just a little bit.
So what key were you just playing?
So I was doing E minor chord first. Sorry, I'm transposed. Yeah, E minor's fine. E minor's fine.
Okay. So this is minor and then major.
Yep.
So it's a minor difference between these two, a major third between here. So what Johnny's saying is you go up minor and then minor again.
Yeah.
And then you can go again if you want, which to the octave.
Yeah.
Very different feel.
Yeah. So again, I think it just gives that, and it leads to that diminished chord leads to that 5 chord so well, and that's that A chord.
It gives you this.
Yeah. I mean, talk about mysterious.
Yes, I was just gonna. Wonderment was the word that came to mind. There's a sense of wonderment, even without the lyric that takes place with this.
And then this chromatic run down the. I mean that. That's just beautiful. Yeah, it's dark, it's mysterious, it's mystical, it's obviously there's a lightness to it because of the subject matter, but it's got all the feelings happening in that song. That's
and then you put in 5. Yeah, I say, and you put in his tone, his playing, everything. And I'm still remembering, I'm reflecting still on just that tiny little part where you just played the melody on the piano. It just reminded me of like a ballet dancer on the piano. It's just the movement of his fingers were just so elegant. It was actually really just that little snippet was like, oh, he's amazing.
Also just one of the great storytellers of all time because it's so effortless for him to sing. And like to have a voice like that, that's just like, and he's just over on the piano, just There was a boy. He's just looking right at the camera. It's like,
I know.
it's just that's a very changing China boy. Oh,
Beautiful, beautiful.
one of my faves.
All right. Now from 1951, fast forwarding to 2014, we have 8-year-old Angelina Jordan singing "I'll Be There," which I think is great because we were just talking about her and Michael, just some of the parallels that we see in such young talent, which is really interesting. I do know in advance, Steve let me know that she was sick during this performance. Of course, you just know she's still going to sound good. But before even hearing this, 8 years old, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's how old she is here. 8 years old, sick, on stage, in front of... I mean, that's... I just went to a school play, elementary school play.
How was it?
They did a great job. Aurora killed it. Actually, I'll show you some videos of her.
Actually, I'm sure she did.
She was Miss Trenchpool. And my daughter, you guys have seen her. She's like the kindest, sweetest, like loving person. Miss Trenchbull. Sorry, Miss Trenchbull is like scary, mean. Like people like everybody was talking about how great she was, and I was afraid to say she was mine because she was scary. She was so good.
She's got the acting.
She was
from
awesome.
Both of you. You're definitely the. I mean, at least she can act too, though. And she's a great actress, actually. Yes. Now that I'm thinking about it.
But I'm the drama queen, is really what you're trying to say. Yes. Aurora was amazing, and there were definitely some exceptional kids in this scenario. But as a whole, when you're working with 8 to 12-year-olds, whatever that range is, it's more of a. It can be rough. That's okay. That's part of the process. So,
yeah.
All right. So this is Steve. You just filled this in here. She had performing for the Nobel Peace Prize winners outside of Norway, 714, 2 days earlier. So she got a cold leading into this one. I mean, so she's almost 9 here. Here we go. Let's check it out. Oh, you can hear it right away. I'm going to put transparency just in case.
Where there is love, I'll be there.
Oh, that.
Yeah, great version of this. Yeah.
I reach out my hand to you. I have faith in all you do. Just
I love that.
my name, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. Just call my name. I'll be there.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it here. I want to address a couple things. Number one, you know this firsthand, Johnny, as a singer, and every singer knows this. Even in choir, I know some of you in the chat are in choir, have performed on stage, whatnot like that. Head colds suck. I mean,
They are the worst.
it's like if imagine you're a guitarist, an acoustic guitar player. It's the only instrument you play, and it's the only guitar you own. You can't go out to a store and buy another one. This is your guitar for life. You wake up one morning, and there's just honey poured all over the fretboard.
Ooh, that sounds delicious, though.
Okay, so
I
slime, just
Okay,
poured
slime,
all
all right.
over.
All right. Yeah.
And that's what you have to play. Like that's, you do your best to wipe it off and to try to, revive the strings and warm up and get it to sound good.
Yep.
Singers, what they go through, that's how a lot of egos are born as singers, because they're just like the paranoia of the slightest thing can take away from
Constant paranoia, yes.
So
Yeah.
to take at 9 years old, to show up knowing that it's not going to be at your best, the level of professionalism, knowing it's for charity, all the stuff like that. So you can hear her tiny little larynx is under duress. So you can sense it obviously, but still her vibrato's present. The range, she's making little choices, just like a pro of like, okay, do I hold this out? Do I go louder here? Like her sensibility and connection, her intuitiveness with her voice at this age, again, I know we always talk about her age, under these circumstances, further deepens the proof of her old soul wisdom as a vocalist.
Absolutely, yeah. And when you say head cold, it's like most people would think, oh, when you have a sore throat, that's what would affect your voice the most. It's actually when it goes up here, because it's all the resonating chambers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just it's
it's
really difficult.
It's the viscosity of the mucus changes, and you have to clear your throat, and basically, not to get gross, but the mucus irritates the folds, so you have to keep clearing your throat, or you might take cough drops, or all these medications, things like that end up drying things, and sometimes that creates more problems, or it numbs your throat, so you don't know how to steer it. So the adaptation becomes difficult because the folds swell and they don't vibrate as freely, and that's why you hear all of that struggle.
But like you said, that being said, really, I mean, she's
yeah.
doing a great job.
We don't normally hear on the show. We very rarely react to things where someone's obviously under the weather, because usually we react to something that's like their best version of something like that. But this is kind of cool. This is a reality check for all singers. You don't look like you're impressed.
Oh man,
you're frozen.
God. Mean mugging.
I think it's fantastic.
That's my resting bitch face.
Yeah, so I just wanted to take a moment to do that, but I just want to explain why I am in awe of how she handled this, because speaking as a professional singer and a vocal coach, this is tough to take on at 30, let alone 9. Yes. All right, let's keep going here.
I'll be there. Let me fill your heart with joy and laughter.
Staying connected too.
Togetherness, that's all I'm after. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be there to protect you. But I'll selfish love I respect.
Oh, she's going for it. I love it.
Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. Just come right in. I'll be there. Just come right in. I'll be there.
Good for her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that she showed up and delivered. Still had that heartfelt vulnerability thing, not just because of the voice being vulnerable, but just her connection to this. Obviously, the intent of the song, the way this is slowed down, the string arrangement, very different than what I'm used to hearing.
I love the arrangement.
Yeah,
and this is one of those songs I like. So I would say that there's two main versions. There's obviously the Jackson 5 version, but then there's the Mariah Carey version. And this is one of the few occurrences where I like both versions of those for different reasons. There's stuff that, obviously, I love Michael's, Young Michael's one of my favorites. And then melodically, Mariah does some cool stuff too that's different. Like, and then Ooh. I love that little line that's not in the original.
Right.
And then she does like, I'll be there. You know, like little runs like that.
Little
Which,
inflections.
my name.
And I love what you guys talk about in chat too. Just her, this is the barefoot princess, right? This is for a charity. It's just like, even though it's recommended that she doesn't go, she's just like, no. I mean, that's just bold and just awesome in every way. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, she's great, and we obviously know what she sounds like when she's even at that age. Like when she's full strength. I mean, she can nail it. So but to have the courage to do that is pretty awesome.
Speaks volumes of who she is. Sting. Every little thing she does is magic. 1996. This should be awesome. By the way, I forgot to tell Johnny. Some of you know this, or I'm sure everybody here probably saw this in the voting. Phil Collins somehow made it into the voting.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys.
But it was outvoted by one. I woke up. This went out on, I don't know, it was like last week, Monday or whatever.
Say you didn't vote. Say you didn't put your vote
No.
in.
I stay out of it.
Okay.
But I will admit, 48 hours later, I woke up, after I posted it one morning, 2 hours later, I woke up and I saw that Simon and Garfunkel, because that's the one that was number 5, and then Phil was under it. I saw that Phil was under the line, and I quickly ended the poll. Like, okay, everybody voted. I gave you all 48 hours. I played fair.
Humbug.
It was so close.
First of all, Sting should do more push-ups, I feel like. I feel like he's not in good enough shape in this particular performance.
He's getting ripped. All right, here we go. It is my black tank top. Yes, Chris.
And mine in that one video. For some reason, I wore a black tank top.
I'm pretty sure you forgot to bring something to wear. You had to borrow mine.
No, I think it was intentional because we had started working out and I wanted to show off my guns. So I'm like, gonna do something completely uncharacteristic. What an idiot.
I tried before to tell her of the feelings I have for her in my heart.
God, another voice you just do not confuse with anybody else's.
No.
Every time that I come near her, I just lose my nerve as I've done from the start. Every little thing she does is magic. Everything she do just turn me on. Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on. Do I have to tell a story of 1,000 rainy days?
Another guitar player. You just don't talk about his guitar playing again.
Well, he's a bass player usually. I mean,
yeah,
he's just.
It's a big enough
bass player.
umbrella, but it's always me that ends up getting wet. Every little thing she does is magic. Everything she do just turn me on. Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on.
a cool acoustic version of this.
Yeah.
To call her up 1,000 times a day and ask her if she'll marry me in some old-fashioned way.
I mean, the jazz.
Silent fears have gripped me.
Yeah.
Long before I reach the phone, long before my tongue has tripped me, must I always be alone?
Pause here real quick. Do you know do you guys might know in the chat, or you might know this, Johnny, was this part of Police that he carried over solo? Or I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That was, I think, a little later on in their career, and that was one. And Stuart Copeland, the drummer in the Police, talks about how
incredible drummer.
Talking to the genius of Sting. I mean, he pretty much came to the session with this, the arrangement that you heard on the radio, just completely intact. He knew the drum part, he knew everything was sort of there, and then, you know, of course, that pisses off a band member to no end when it's already done. You know, especially those guys. But I think they tried some different things, and at the end of the day, they're just like, yeah, that's the way to go. It's like, you can't argue it.
It was the way it should be. Yeah.
But a version like this, it's so interesting because it brings out the beauty in sort of, you know, a pop song. You know, people know it as sort of a bouncy, sort of fun pop song.
Right.
When he slows it down, it really brings out the hauntingness and the beauty of the melody and what he's doing chordally. You know, and again, like you were saying, his guitar playing. I mean, he's obviously the bass player, and normally speaking, and one of the great bass players, I think. But yeah, his guitar playing, especially like, you know, when he brings out the classical chops and he plays, I forget what he was doing. He was like playing a lute or something one time. He does these weird exotic instruments, and he just plays them so well. He does everything so
just
well.
Picks it up and executes. Yeah.
And like his presence on stage. I mean, it's like when people talk about, like, you know, an artist having an X factor, it's like, that's an X factor right there. When you can just stick the guy on the stage, you don't need anything else.
He's not even engaging with the audience. I mean, he's pretty. No. His eyes are closed. It's like an internalized performance. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen him where is engaged and looking out and things like that. But this version is more looking inward.
It's more internal, but there's a presence there. You can. Yes. It's palpable. Yeah.
And it's not just the biceps. It is definitely his voice and the song itself.
Half the biceps.
I am envious, I admit, of the biceps. However,
he's just so cool. You know, it's just like you want to be Sting. You know.
Now, in where he's singing, where's that? G sharp.
That's a G sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. So. A flat, I know you're going to say. I'm like, no, it's not an A. So that range of notes is right where the passaggio is. That's part of where we've used that word a lot here. It's that transition between the registers, mixed voice, some people call it. But it's the folds have to start thinning a little bit. And if he doesn't, it's going to, you might like trip right into, you know, kind of crack there a little bit. It's part of what gives it a vulnerable sound. You could hear that he's right on that edge, because you can hear the words like everything's just a little tight, the tongue in jaw. So just from a mechanical perspective, everything is closed off just a little bit. It's not as refined as what you hear with the full band when he's probably going louder. So if he's a little bit louder and the band were playing with him, then a little more air pressure, and all of a sudden those notes, they don't sound as vulnerable, but they become more clear. That's a really common thing you hear there, but. You know, I notice it because of what I do, but to your point, like, who cares? You still want to just be Sting. You just want just that whole coolness factor that's there.
Yeah, and his passage is probably a little bit different than normal because he is more of a tenor. And the only reason I say that is because I feel like this is a lower. I think he might have lowered this a little bit, but also as later on in his career, in his career, you know, when you compare this to like Roxanne, where he's just like he's got a little bit more of a high end thing, you know, and like the early Police stuff, he was up there. Voice is a little thinner, and then as he got older and matured, like in some of the lower tones, his voice probably just lowered naturally. I feel like he's just in like peak form right here, where it's just, you know, he's just got that warmth
built into it. Yep.
Yeah, it's just like
All right, let's keep going here.
Prime Sting.
Every little thing she does is magic. Everything she do just turn me on. Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on. Every little thing she does.
It's complete opposite of Nat King Cole that we saw.
Everything
Jaw.
she do just turn me on.
Tension
Yeah.
versus release.
Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes
But his sound.
on.
That's part of what distinct sound comes from that.
Yeah. Interesting choice there. though.
Yeah, I want to hear that again. Sorry, I talked over a little bit.
Her goes on and on and on.
Nice. That was cool. Oh my goodness.
Freaking
Before we
awesome.
move on to another bass player, can we say a quick thank you to our coffee buyers?
We can. Yes, thank you to Latte Lover for your 5. She says, thank you for reacting to these 5 songs.
Our
with 5
pleasure.
for 5. Always,
Thank
always
you.
a theme with Latte as well. A great way to start the week. Yes, indeed. And then Francesca bought 2 coffees. She says, really appreciate the in-depth discussion today and every day.
Oh, thank
We
you very much.
appreciate you as well.
And for all of you not present today but watching on Thursday, please be sure to click that like button. Wait, where is it? What's going on with my buttons? There it is. It came in fast.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't.
You fist
can't
bump
get
it.
Oh yeah,
I
I
can-
can't. I'm always.
See, it's my hand. Anyway, we appreciate
Yeah,
the
that's
likes and comments. And of course, there's a link below in the description if you want to help support this as well. And become a member. Come hang out with us too each month. That would be awesome if you're not already.
Yes.
All right, on
Yeah,
to
so who is this band that we're reacting to?
what was your attempt earlier? Beatles.
Beatle.
Was it Beatles?
Beatle. French.
So this was submitted by Robbie, I believe. This is Let It Be, the first song I ever learned drums to. So I have an attachment to this song. And this was Alternative Shots from the film. So I think it shows us at the beginning here, right? So this is the music video.
This is probably the recording.
Right.
It's the studio recording. They're doing live footage to it.
Alternate camera angles. That's what it was.
When I find myself.
Did you see George?
Oh, he's in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, look at him. He's just like,
Well, that's the thing.
I love it.
I mean, did you see Get Back? The 9
Yes.
hour.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I mean, one of the things I loved it. I was just in my glory watching the whole thing. One of the things that really struck me was just how much they joked around and didn't take it seriously. I'm just like, you're the biggest band on the planet. You're giving yourself 2 weeks essentially to like write and record and perform like 14 songs.
Right.
And half the time they're like just, they're just joking around and doing anything but writing. I mean, Paul was trying to.
I said I would not survive in that setting because I'm just like a taskmaster
I
when it
am
comes to
too.
that.
Even I was just like, come on, guys, get it together. You got some stuff to do. Jeez. But it's just...
Does no one care?
I just love how loose they are, just how much fun they had in their whole career.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Francesca, this is mine from yesteryear.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me,
What a voice.
speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Did he track the actual thing live, piano, and sing at the same time? Correct?
Mhm.
He did,
Yeah,
right?
this
Okay.
this album was supposed to be the bare bones album where they did everything live, no other
Right.
overdubs. They broke that rule, so that like the background vocals, that's they did those later. They
They
laid
did.
those
Okay.
down later. Yeah. Yes.
So George is just
They
faking it.
overdubbed them. So they're I don't know if they kept those. Yeah, they're faking. They did sing it eventually.
Well, I'm
but yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's still his voice in there, but apparently Johnny's seen this video enough and has no interest in watching the rest because he disappeared without any warning. That time you were literally mid-sentence, just gone.
Okay. Anyway, yes.
All right, we'll continue.
Yeah, keep going.
Words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Yeah, there will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be,
Horns
let it be.
overdubbed.
Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
This guy was brought in.
Billy.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant. What's his name again?
Billy. Why am I drawing a
Billy.
blank on his name? Billy
He looks like a Billy. I'll back you up there.
Preston. Billy Preston.
Billy Preston, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what he added, because wasn't he brought in for just like one or two songs and ended up like
Well,
being
he
part
was
of the
brought
band
in
practically?
probably 3 weeks into the process after George quit and came back. So George quit the band, came back. Lots of stuff happening in this era of the Beatles. So it came back, and he invited Billy because he thought having a guest would prove to be sort of a solvent for all the friction that was
Mm.
going on.
Okay.
Just, people would be on their best behavior just because there was a stranger. They didn't want to, show how bitchy they were. Basically.
Right. But they'd performed with him or something before.
They performed. Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
Ray Charles's band or something.
Okay.
He was the organ player in Ray Charles's band.
But
Yeah.
his choices, I mean, they really just
Yeah.
brought these songs to just another plane. And if he wasn't there, it'd still be great songs, et cetera, et cetera. But would they have had the success without it? We don't know. I mean, that's some of the subconscious layers that just makes it just a time and space musically that is identifiable from a lot of the other music being put out at the time.
Yeah, no, I mean Billy's musicality is, you can't deny it. But also just having a different instrument, that organ provided another sonic thing. Especially, organ can be sort of like a pad type of thing. Pad in
Right.
terms of, just something that in the background that just kind of like smooths everything out. Just gives some dimension to the overall mix, which is
It
at
makes
this point
it adds a lushness.
it adds a
to
lushness.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines
Martin?
on me.
Yeah.
Shine until
I don't feel like that's actually
tomorrow,
him in the recording
let
though.
it be.
No.
No.
I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Let it be.
Is John doing anything in this song? I understand I love John, but I hear a bass line. He's kind of like emulating it, but he's not playing a bass.
It's
So I'm
not him.
confused.
So, okay, here's the thing. So again, just going back to the chaos that was surrounding this period in their career. So this was released. This was their second to last album. Abbey Road was their last recorded album.
Right.
This was scrapped because it was just sort of just chaotic, and then they re-released it last after Abbey Road, and they hired Phil Spector to become the producer and sort of, so that's where all this stuff was added on.
Right.
So there's 3 versions of this song. There's many versions of the song. So this version is the Phil Spector version where they're adding the horns, that like hi-hat thing that's
layered in.
Ringo didn't play that. That was an effect that they added.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the background vocals. And then there's the Glyn Johns version, which was the single version. And I like that one more than this one. Then there's the Let It Be Naked. They released Let It Be Naked, which was stripped of all the other stuff.
Oh, interesting.
All the overdubs that they did later. Because in this version, so there's the background vocals, which they did later. There's the horns. And then John's bass was also replaced by Paul.
Paul, yeah. I mean, it sounds like Paul's playing because it's actually Paul.
Yeah.
His choices. He doesn't just stay on the root. I mean, he the root.
I mean, one of the
chord. He just
one of the
moves
greatest,
around.
greatest.
Yeah, just these counter melodies that he puts in. So I'm looking at John, and it looks like he's playing a bass line, but it's a guitar, but I don't hear what he's playing at all. So that's
no, like obviously
something's amiss.
John Lennon is a genius, was a genius, but his bass playing was not necessarily his strong suit. He didn't really concentrate in those little specifics.
Yeah, I mean it's all part of the same band experience here. So I mean he belongs here, but. I wasn't connecting when I was hearing it. Anyway.
Me speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Oh, yes, Deb, sorry. D-Lo started 2 minutes ago, our reaction from last week. This episode was supposed to last 1 hour, but it was too good. We're going long. So make sure you check that out. If this is on Thursday, go check out what we reacted to on Monday. If you're watching live, go check it out on replay. A few minutes from now.
I'm confused.
So confusing.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Oh, there will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Oh, there will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper where the wind
Star was also a great job.
Awesome.
So just because we didn't really talk about the song that much, obviously an amazing song. Simple, it's got.
I feel like this one's going to stick around for a while. It's just.
I feel like it's got something.
One of those.
I mean,
tunes.
Obviously it's that chord progression that what's the band that did basically a 1,000 songs.
1,000 songs with one chord progression. Yeah.
So I would like to say that it probably started with this one, even it didn't, but that's that 1 5 minor 6 4 progression. Paul's voice, just one of my favorites of all time. In the context of this show, it's like we see the most amazing vocalists that there ever were, and then our jaws are dropped, and for good reason. And oh geez,
I know, I was waiting for you to come back. Go ahead.
And and when you look at his voice, it's like it doesn't have that stuff, but I mean his range is amazing. It's just got this like I mean, he's one of my favorites.
There's
He's
something
just
about
do
his
all.
voice. You're right. It's not identifiable in the same like textural thing that we heard with Sting, or this crazy, vibrato fry technique thing that Angelina has, or Nat King Cole. It's like you can go through them and like, oh, these really identical. You hear it once, you know it. You still know Paul's, but he's got a little more of like that boy next door kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's just like
right.
it's just
he's
like
the
your
Jennifer
everyday
Aniston of
voice
singers. Yes.
at the peak of possibility.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and just and that's God. I don't want to dismiss him or degrade him in any way, because he's one of the greats, and he's one of my favorites of all time. Because he can scream, he can do the ballads.
He's incredible.
I love the simplicity of his voice, and it's very relatable, and it's
I think relatable. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
And he's just so cool. The beard and long hair. I wanted to be him. I wanted to be him. I still do. I think he's just the coolest thing going.
But with Sting's biceps. I think that's
With Sting's biceps, yeah.
that's the ultimate version.
And then somebody mentioned just the origin of this song. So this was came to Paul in a dream. So he had a dream about his mother, whose name was Mary. So it was literally when he says Mother Mary comes to me. So he's talking about his own mother, but obviously the connotation with the religious sort of spiritual aspect really worked as well. But it's about his own mother coming to him in a dream, and basically in a time that he was sort of in upheaval and didn't know where his life was going, just doing too much partying, too much excess, all the stuff that comes with being a Beatle. So he's just in a bad state, and his mom basically said in the dream, his mom, who passed away probably when he was 14 or so, said, let it be. Just kind of like talked him down the ledge, off the ledge.
Wow, I had no idea.
Be okay, just let it be. So that's what he based the song on.
That is wild.
Yeah,
that is super cool.
That song came to him in a dream. Yesterday came to him in a dream. God, give me those naps. I mean, good Lord.
You go take a nap and come back with a hit tomorrow. All right.
Yeah, a timeless hit that's been covered thousands of times. Yeah, it's just. I mean, this is great.
Brilliant.
I've been a Beatles fan for 30 years now, or whatever it is, and they changed my whole life, and I know that I'm not the only one. I mean, they were just so instrumental in so many people's lives.
Of course.
But I mean, as a musician, and just they're sort of in a way like my mythology too, like their progression through life as people and their career, and the way that they changed as people. They're kind of like signposts for me getting older and be like, oh, look, they went through that change. Yeah, like they were this way for this era, then they, and then they matured in this way, and it's just, So very special band for me in so many ways. So thank you for choosing that.
And thank you for everybody for voting on it as well. We'll have another Thronly only next month. So now's a great time to become a member, starting at just $1 coffee per month to help support the page as a whole, and you also participate in those votes. We hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, Thronly members. And we will see you. I'm not going to say what's tomorrow because it'll be confusing because everybody else is going to see this on Thursday. But we hope we see you more this week.
Yes, indeed.
And thank you to all of our Thronly members. This is why we're doing what we're doing. And we've got a new. We need to. Who's new? We have this past month. Betty, Steve's here in the chat. Susan, that's my mom. She supports us. Barbara's new. Charles is new. Rihanna's new. Gorda is new as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.